there's one game that wasn't nominated for any category for the VGAs, and that is Octopath Traveler 2. And it's kind of crazy because this game was probably one of the best games to come out this year. And two of the categories that I specifically think that they should actually have some type of representation in, they did not. And it's kind of crazy when I actually look at it and think about it. But before we get into that, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Also share the channel, it does help out a lot. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in and talk about Octopath Traveler 2. So I have a hot take, and that is that Final Fantasy 16 was nominated for the best RPG category. But in my opinion, I don't think it should be there because it's definitely way more of an action game. So it should have been put in a different category, but not best RPG. Octopath Traveler 2 on the other hand is an RPG through and through. I mean, it has everything you need. It has a great level up system. It has turn-based combat. There's a lot of customization in terms of equipping each of your party members with the right gear. They each have their own skills and so forth. There's a lot going on that makes Octopath Traveler 2, well, an RPG. Or Final Fantasy 16, I mean, honestly, a lot of the stuff that I just mentioned doesn't really matter in 16. You can kind of go through the whole game with just your base equipment and you'll be fine because it's really more action orientated. Not only that, when it comes to the skill tree, it's just nothing big. There's a lot of other games that have done better skill trees, especially RPGs like Liza P, which was also nominated in best RPG, kind of does a lot of things a little bit better. So there's a lot of other things that Octopath Traveler 2 just does better as an RPG, and I'm kind of disappointed that it wasn't there. I know, I get it. It came out really early on in February, and it was actually sandwiched in between games such as like Resident Evil 4 remake and other stuff. A lot of hype was surrounding, and everybody couldn't wait for Tears of the Kingdom and so forth. So there's a lot of things going on there, and Octopath Traveler 1 also kind of left some bad taste in a lot of people's mouths because, I mean, let's face it, Octopath Traveler 1 was a great concept. It just didn't execute it well, where Octopath Traveler 2 actually does everything right. It's pretty much what we all hoped Octopath Traveler 1 was from the beginning. Now, going into those RPG elements, like I mentioned, there's a lot of things going on there. Let's start off with the story. Like Octopath Traveler 1, you start off with one main character of your choosing, and then as you go through, you can go ahead and acquire all these other characters to join your team, which is very well done. Previously, the characters kind of just meet up, and it's just that, like, they just meet up. They really don't have an end goal together. It's just, hey, you got this other person, see their backstory, okay, continue on, and you can go through and do everybody else's backstory. And that was kind of it. And to me, that was boring because there was no reason for them to be there. There was no interaction, no anything. Well, Octopath Traveler 2, not so much. It's a lot better overall. The stories do come together. They do interact with each other to an extent, and honestly, that was the best thing to happen so far. But not only that, every individual story is kind of done 1,000 times better. Like Hikari, for example, that opening scene with Hikari is just amazing. On top of that, when you have that music playing in that opening scene, oh man, it's just fire. Everything about that opening scene was great. You also have a lot of other great characters out there. Honestly, the dancer in this one, it's a lot better. I believe her name is Agnia. I don't know how you would pronounce it, but her story is also a lot better than the previous one in my opinion. Like, I think hers is just really great. She also has a great theme song, which is, again, amazing. And I'm gonna try to play those songs later on in a bit. We're gonna go deeper into the OST because that OST is fire, and it also was nominated for best OST, which to me, second time an Octopath Traveler game is getting, stomped on. I mean, come on. It should have definitely been in the... Anyways, let's not talk about that right now. But going into what I was talking about with Octopath Traveler 2, a lot of the elements were just great. The storytelling is great. It's very top notch. The way it's done is great. They've added also a couple of new things such as a day and night system, where the daytime will have, different things going on. You'll have different monsters, different difficulties, different skills and so forth that you can use during the day, and nighttime of course you'll have different abilities, monsters, skills, and all that other stuff during the night as well. Again, amazing stuff that they have going through. I highly recommend it because it's probably one of the best, if not the best RPG to come out this year. I mean, we have Super Mario RPG coming out, so that's probably going to take it as the best RPG. And of course, there was also Sea of Stars. But again, this is definitely one of those that you don't want to miss. As far as combat goes, it's just your normal turn-based, but with a twist. Something that started back with Bravery Default, which it is the same team that does this, is they added in a system called BP, which is called Brave Points. And basically what it is you can stack up your turns. So for example, if you do a single attack, that's cool, you'll get a Brave Point. And then what you can do is add those Brave Points to do multiple attacks. So you can maybe attack 5 times in a row, or you can power up some of your skills or your magic abilities to do even better or more powerful skills and magic abilities, which is really cool. For example, if you do a cure, and let's say maybe you need a cure a little bit more, if you rack up your BP and then use a cure, and it will basically go ahead and amplify that cure and allow you to go ahead and recover a lot more HP, which is very neat. Same thing goes with attacks. You can save up and make your attacks be more powerful, or you can attack multiple times. A lot of enemies, they have weaknesses depending on different abilities or different weapons and so forth. So for example, if you want to break an enemy, which is also something you can do in the game, you might have maybe need 3 attacks with certain things to break the enemy. You can save up those BPs till you have 3 available, and then go ahead and attack an enemy 3 times with its weakness, and that would allow it to go ahead and go into that break state, which allows you to do a lot more damage. So again, the turn-based RPG mechanics in there are actually really thought out. They're really well done. It never feels like you're overpowered, right? You can't just go ahead and save up all your BP and then at the end go ahead and just do a full-on attack, because that won't always pay off. You might have an enemy that's really quick and is really powerful. It might bring you down pretty quick, therefore you have to go ahead and attack more often or heal more often and use these turns, or use up your BPs more often. So there's a lot of cool things like that. Also, like I mentioned earlier, there are skills you can use outside of battle. For example, you can go ahead with Hikari and kind of battle any NPC out there. Well, maybe not any NPC, but there'll be a little icon that does appear that will show that you can go ahead and battle. Or with the thief, you can go ahead and, let's say, steal. You can go ahead and steal, items or weapons, whatever you might have. They'll show you exactly the chance you have of stealing, and so forth. There's a lot of cool things that you can do in this game outside of just battle, which does help out the game overall. I should mention that the thief's name is Strone. But yeah, like I was saying, all of the RPG elements in this game are amazing, which is why I think it should have been in the best RPG category for the VGAs. And honestly, it's very disappointing to not see it there. And I feel like a lot of outlets just overlooked it. If you talk to many people online, they will tell you that Octopath Traveler 2 is probably one of the best games to come out this year. It is a huge improvement from part 1, and honestly I recommend it. But let's go ahead and also talk about the OST, because the OST is amazing. It's probably maybe one of the best OSTs, if not the best OST this year. There's a lot of great tracks on there, starting off with Hikari. Again, I started off with Hikari and his beginning battle scene. Oh man, it is epic and amazing. But what helps it make it epic and amazing is the music. The music is just downright amazing. It's probably one of the best soundtracks ever. It always just goes in my head, like just randomly. I could be driving work or something like that, and the OST just goes in my head. I'm like, yeah man, this is amazing. But go ahead and hear some of the tracks from Octopath Traveler 2 right now. will tell you this, that some of the songs that I have playing before, they might get muted because of copyright. So if they do get muted, I apologize. But I do have the name of the songs there on those screens, so you can always go ahead and search it yourself if you want to go ahead and take a look. But again, the soundtrack is amazing, one of the best soundtracks out there. There's so many great songs. I only gave you a taste of just 3, and you can probably hear some of the music also in the background of this video. But like I said, amazing music. Honestly, it's very, very disappointing to see that they did not put it there. Some of the nominees that they have, I guarantee you that those are nowhere near Octopath Traveler's, how can I put it? Nowhere near the level in terms of music design that Octopath Traveler 2 has. And that's something that is disappointing, because every time I see the VGAs, especially when it comes to best soundtrack, a lot of the great games, in my opinion, they just get like, I mean, let's go back to God of War winning best soundtrack. Again, no offense to God of War, you know, no offense to the musicians or anybody that worked on the game, but Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is definitely a way better soundtrack than God of War. And I mean, we can argue all day, but just the battle theme alone in Xenoblade Chronicles 3 beats out anything that I've heard in God of War. So yeah, I feel like there's a little bit of biasness there when it comes to them voting or and stuff like that. And not only that, I mean, I do feel that, especially when it comes to the Game Awards, a lot of people don't like Japanese games or anything to do with Japanese games. So when you actually look at it, a lot of Japanese games just get snuffed. I mean, we've had Astral Chain not win any awards, which is to me kind of like wrong. It's one of the best games out there. Octopath Traveler 1 didn't win best OST that year. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 didn't win anything. I mean, I guess it won best RPG, I believe. It won that last year. I don't remember. But anyways, it still didn't win best OST, which is definitely should have won that. And then here we are without having, you know, Octopath Traveler 2. Like, come on. I don't want to say the video game awards are a joke, and honestly it doesn't mean much, right? If you like a game, go ahead, that's all cool for you. These awards, in my opinion, don't mean anything about that game. I still feel that whatever game you feel is great. That's all it is. It doesn't matter if anybody else doesn't like it. It's basically what you like and what you want to play, and that's the way I kind of go with it, right? Like, you know, these are my top games. These are what I feel should win these, you know, awards and stuff like that. And we'll talk about it, of course, on the podcast. Doesn't bother me much, but to an extent, it does, because it's like, come on, Octopath Traveler 2, you know, is a very, very good game. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you feel about Octopath Traveler 2? Do you think it was right for it not to be even considered in any of the nominees, or do you feel like it should have been a nominee in at least certain categories there? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to share the channel. We are trying to hit 600 subscribers by the end of November, so really do appreciate it if you go ahead and share the channel and hit that subscribe button as well. And of course, the goal is to try, hopefully get close to 1,000 subscribers, the closer the better, before the end of the year. That would be a huge highlight for sure. My name is James, and I'll catch you guys next time.